Good morning and welcome to episode 13 of the Ibanez Geo Goldtop build. Alright, I am finished with the painting and clear coating and all that happy stuff, and I am now going to start putting this thing back together. I'm so excited. I'm going to start with the tuning pegs, getting those in. And I'm going to be putting my, stick those in there. There's my bottom piece. Yes, these things have a distinctive bottom piece and a top piece. And then the rest of them are just straight edge. That gives it a nice fancy framing. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and screw my first piece in. Alrighty. And I'm trying to find my little screwdriver, but my roommate uses it to take the battery covers off of the grandbaby's toys, and I can never find it. So I've got to use this big old lunky thing. I'm excited to finally start being able to put some pieces on this thing. Phew. I say it's probably been a little over a month or so, maybe longer, since I started this thing. Well, probably longer than that. I know it's been longer than that because the first video in the series, ooh, that's why I don't like these. You see that? The first video in the series went up on YouTube about a month ago, and I made the first 3 or 4 at the same time. I had already shot the footage in the weeks leading up to that, so I got the guitar at the end of December, just before New Year's, and it is currently March the 9th, I think. So, a couple months. I think the longest part's been the painting, actually. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video series. Used, I think it was Power Editor. I downloaded it on my phone just to see if it would work. I used to do all my videos with Windows Movie Maker, and I did videos all the time, like just guitar playing videos and all kinds of stuff. But then once I downloaded Windows 10, it no longer included Movie Maker, and it had some other kind of movie thing that I never could quite figure out how to work right, and it made me mad, so I stopped trying to do videos, which is why that stopped. My guitar-yoke and all that, because it just pissed me off. Yeah, if you remember, lining these things up was fun when I was first drilling the holes and whatnot for the screws. These things were all kind of janky at first. I had to do a little bit of work on the holes to get them to line up properly. That's one of the things that had happened was when I was re-drilling my holes, my drill bit kept trying to walk on me. Yeah, it would end up kind of off to the side, so I'd have to kind of ream it out to bring it back in line. because it wanted to be difficult. I'm kind of putting these in loose at the moment just to hold them in place until I get them all in. Then I will get them lined up. And tighten them down. There's going to be a little more action in this video than in the last couple. They were basically just painting videos, and those are freaking boring. But yeah, I didn't feel like I could just turn the camera off after the first coat and turn it back on after the last one and say, voila, here it is. You know. But, yeah. Voila. This is where it gets satisfying, where you actually kind of start to see the hard work pay off. I saw a couple suggestions. I should have gone with the 3x3, 3 to a side, like the Les Pauls, which would have been kind of cool, but I would have had to drill 3 new holes on one side and fill 3 holes on the other. They would have been spread out kind of Iceman style, which could have been kind of cool. But I myself prefer 6 inline tuners. This one's being a little bit harder to screw in. This is one of them. I had to reposition the pallet hole because it kind of walked off a little bit. Alright, there's that. And did a little bit of a brush up. And now we'll get something to push those in. Holes have got a little bit tighter with the paint and clear coat that's going on there. Notice watching these videos, my accent is coming through, and I keep saying clear coat instead of clear coat. Put some clear coat on it. My accent used to be really thick when I was younger. Like extremely thick, which I don't really understand why, because my parents and grandparents, they were all from the area, but none of them really spoke with that thick of an accent. I must have picked it up from school. I heard myself on a video one day and I was horrified with how thick. I mean, I'm talking, it was real thick. It was like this whenever I would talk, and it was just like, do I really talk like that? I didn't like it. So, all right. So I worked to try to change it a little bit. All right. Let's see what I've got. Yeah, it's actually warm enough today. I got my windows open. My cats are all jumping around and they're all happy. The windows are open. Knocking stuff off my amp and took a nap when I got home from work today. Then I woke up and my Christine model was on the floor and my fan was dangling by its cord. I had slept through all of that somehow. Bad cats. And that was before I opened the windows. Yeah, that works pretty good. Look at that. Output jack plate. I use all kinds of things for their unintended purposes. That one I might have to loosen that screw up and kind of jiggle that one around a little bit because I don't want to try to force it too hard because something will slip and something will scratch and put so much work into this thing I don't want to screw it up trying to force anything. Okay, that's almost in. That looks pretty good though. Alright, I'm gonna finish knocking these in and then I'm gonna start doing the other little stuff. Alright, strap buttons will be next. I've got these plain chrome. They did not come with the felt things. Those I stole those off of another set, and luckily enough they're cream colored. Now I didn't do anything with the original holes. They didn't look like they were reamed out or anything, which was nice. I don't know why I did like that. Okay. Use a real screwdriver for this part. Yeah, it feels pretty solid. Alright. Number 2. And my pickups are still being made. I think the guy's still waiting for a couple of parts. I'm debating on whether in the meantime, until I get those, to go ahead and throw a set in here just to have it wired. And I do still need to pick up a set of strings. I'll head down to my local store, Hometown Music, maybe this weekend, and stock up on strings. Alright, now this one's not very solid. So I will be taking that back out. And jamming a piece of wood up in there. Look how deep that hole is. Oh, goodness gracious, I almost gave myself a vivisection. That would not have been good. First time on video, a man eviscerates himself building a guitar. If at first you don't succeed, kill yourself so it doesn't happen again. Alright. And normally I would glue it in there and all that, but it's such a big, stout piece of wood, I probably won't need to do that. And I'm lined up launching the guitar off the side of the freaking desk. Yeah, that's much better. Ta-da! Strap buttons are on. Alright. Now, I'm going to set this to the side for the moment. I hope that this little shit doesn't decide to walk across it. Right, Sally? Alright. Now, this is my wiring harness, and I showed it to you before. What I got was 4 A500K pots. I've got the 400 volt 0.022 microfarad. They're Russian paper in oil capacitors, which I did a good bit of research, and they're pretty much equivalent to the bumblebees that they use in the classic. I did the 50s wiring on this. Follow the diagram for that. I left my middle lugs unsoldered so that when I solder the other wires to those outputs, it'll all go in together. I will need to take smoke another one. I need to go ahead and take these nuts off of it. I'm excited to see this in the guitar. I got my pieces. Those parts that I thought were going to take until like midweek to get here, they actually got here in like 2 days. I can't remember if I said that in the last video or not. I probably did. I forget. That I really only watched those once, and that's when I kind of watch them when I'm putting them together, and then I kind of watch them one more time, just kind of about proofreading, I guess, just to make sure I didn't screw anything up too bad, and then I put them up, and that's the last time I see them. Yeah, I'm excited to finally see this stuff going in. After I've been smurfing with that paint for the last 3 weeks. But I don't have to make that trip. I still have to make them to get my mail, which when my parts came, that's where I went. The apartment I live in, we have no mailbox. So there's no way to get mail up here unless we get a post office box. And for whatever reason, instead of paying for a post office box, I'd still get my mail at my grandmother's house, which is 45 minutes away. And so I go there like once a week to pick up my pile of mail that's mostly junk mail. And occasionally a package if I order something from the Bay. Alright. This will be the first time this thing's been out of the harness. Or out of the card, I should say. Here we go. Yeah, that one came loose, of course. Alright, now. I will have to go back over the back of the guitar. I've got some scars on there from sitting it down. And try not to leave any kind of fabric patterns or anything in it, and I ended up getting all kinds of other patterns in it. So can't win for losing. Alright, there's my ground wire, which I will have to take my old ground wire off, but I'll do that shortly. But I got my crank knobs that'll fit on these splines. I know I did talk about that. Alright, get in there. Ooh, that's not good. Those are in. I'll take off that old ground wire and replace it with the new one. Alright. But yeah, I kind of went, I did, got the cloth wiring, cloth wires, paper and oil capacitors. I even got long shaft pods. I don't think I really needed them, but I've got them set up now so they'll work the way they're intended to. I need to go get my socket set out of the car instead of trying to put these things on by hand. One thing I do need to do though, find my little brush. Push this through, some of that stuff got on the threads. I don't do any painting, but these little brushes come in handy for other things. I always use things for stuff they're not necessarily intended for. I would call my channel Unintended Consequence. What is it, Chuck? The cat's sitting here meowing at me. What is it, Chucky Lee's? My cat's got a few names. The 4 cats we got, 3 of them are siblings. They're all 3 of them are tuxedos. Got a gray one and 2 black and white ones. And the first 2 we got, Chuck and Sally, named them after Charlie Brown and his little sister, Chuck. And then about a month after we got them, we got their other sister, Susie. And she was really skittish when she first got here. And now she's like she's the friendliest one now. And then we got the little punk Rita, who is, she's a tortoiseshell. She came from the mean streets of Fairfield, Ohio. Brought her back about 2.5 years ago. My roommate's father passed, and we went to Ohio to pick up some of his stuff, and we ended up bringing one of these cats home too. And she hid under the bed that first night. Then the next day she was up rubbing all over me and rolling around on her back and showed me her belly, and I kind of fell in love with her like right away. She don't weigh but 5 pounds. I thought she was a kitten, or at least a adolescent. But she might be older than that, I don't know. She's 5 pounds. She hasn't grown at all since we brought her home, so she's just little. Of course, I don't think tortoises really get that big anyway. All right, there's my. Look at that. And here's my new knobs. I know you guys probably don't care to hear about my cats. I'm just yammering while I'm doing this. Yeah, these will work much better. Of course, I'm not gonna put them on until I get those nuts tightened down. Those are pretty though. Goodness. This thing's pretty much going to look nearly identical to the mock-up picture that I did. Actually, a little better because I did not count for the vintage knobs when I first did the mock-up. So that's something that's actually going to be above and beyond what my original plan was, or what my original picture was, I should say. Yeah, we'll go ahead and put my switch in. I covered up all my holes with masking. Oh shoot, I forgot these. I forgot my little dial indicators. So it's a good thing I haven't tightened those down yet. because that's got to go foist. Drop this down in here. Might scrape some of that excess paint out of that whole, all the layers of primer and paint and clear coat. Make the hole a little tighter. It actually worked to my advantage for the bushings on the headstock, but not so much of an advantage here. I should have done this when I was putting in my controls too, because I had it busted out a little bit of paint around this one, but luckily my washer did not have covered that up completely, so you can't even tell. But still, when it busted through, I was like, oh. Come here. Pop, 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 poker chip, pop, pop, poker chip. Don't look at me like that, cat. Yeah, my poker chip's trying to spin on me. See if we can get this thing spun around and orientated properly, because my switch actually needs to go up and down. Yeah, that needs to go right there, and this needs to go right there. Okay. All right, come on. There you go. There you go. Let's get that in the right place. All right. That thing's loud. It's just spinning the switch around. How rude. Anyway, that'll get tightened down as well. In the world. No. I've got, what is this? I got a bunch of little, I guess those are for the strap buttons. I didn't actually order those, I don't think. I don't remember. I first ordered some of these parts back at the end of December, early January. So it's, I probably did. Because I think I ordered like one of everything. You know, some stuff I've had to reorder because they either came wrong or I ordered the wrong thing. It's about 50-50. Like that bridge way back in one of the early videos. They actually sent me the wrong bridge for the posts. I ended up just buying a new bridge because by the time it came around to it, it had already been over 30 days since I ordered. Yeah. Do these things go above or below the nut? I'm going to put it right there. Yeah. Little pointers. They stop at 11. I'm just kidding. And before I do any final positioning on this part, I will consult my pictures and whatnot. I have looked at countless pictures of those Goldtops during this process just to kind of see like how far the binding needed to come in and you know exactly what kind of knobs I'd need and all that happy shit. I've never actually had a guitar with these pointers on it before, so this is kind of stands the reason I would forget to put them on until I saw them. I'm like, oh yes, those things. But it's rewarding to finally. I know you guys are probably glad to finally see something actually happening too. I've had a lot of questions about the project. You know, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Yes, no. I thought about it. And, you know, a lot of people saying, I cannot wait to see this project together. It's going to be sick. I hope you're right. I can't wait to get these pickups. The first time I've ever paid for a set of hand-wound pickups ever. So I'm kind of excited to see how they stack up. I was originally going to get the burst bucker specs, but then I did some more research, and I'm kind of basing this on the style of a 57 or 58. Which is when they started loading these with PAFs. The mythical patent applied for. And I figured, you know what, might as well go all out. Come on. you got to be difficult. The rest of them went on just fine. Yes, I do resort to peer pressure to get my equipment to do what I need it to do. The rest of them went on just fine. Why can't you? Alright. There's my pointers. I'm just going to sit these on just kind of. Yeah. I am giddy. So sit this on here just for visual purposes. All right, there's the other. All right, let me turn this thing around. And there it is so far. With my bridge and my tailpiece, and just need to get my pickups. I'm not going to walk you through the whole wiring process, but I will be doing that. There's my headstock with the tuners. Oh, I always forget that tailpiece just falls off. There's nothing attaching it until there's string pressure. There's my wiring, and there's that. Ta-da! So I'm going to go ahead and start working on running the wires next.